I can hear and see.
Yeah, cool. Thank you. So hi, everyone. I'm Sanjukta Mukherjee, and I'm a senior solutions architect at AWS. I've been with AWS for 3 years now, and I work for customers who are new in the cloud adoption journey. And joining me today is Avichal Cham. He's also a senior solutions architect at AWS. He's been with AWS for 2.5 years, and he works for enterprise customers and focuses on cloud operations and containers. And through the next section, we will be focusing on cloud operations and governance features and services that were announced in reInvent 2023. Right. And so the first one that I wanted to focus on is automate AWS Control Tower landing zone operations using APIs. So AWS Control Tower, as you know, is a service that we use to set up, operate, govern a multi-account AWS environment. And this multi-account AWS environment is based on security and compliance best practices. So till this point, or historically, whenever you wanted to work on AWS Control Tower, you had to log into the AWS console and then do the different operations. But with this new announcement, what we have is that customers can now programmatically set up and manage their landing zones. So not only is the console access available for our customers, but they can also do all the operations programmatically. So they can create landing zones, they can reset their landing zones, they can update their landing zones through APIs. Right, and this is going to support any new landing zones that our customers set up, or any existing landing zones that may already be in place. The second announcement that we wanted to share is related to AWS Control Tower again, and that it supports and announces 65 new controls. So controls are different security policies that you can put in place for your multi-account strategies. These are blueprints that can be inherited in your multi-account environment. So 65 new AWS managed controls have been introduced, and this is going to help you to meet your digital sovereignty requirements. Even more enhanced region deny capabilities have been added with this service launch. So it's going to help you to prevent certain actions in your AWS environment, detect resource changes across your AWS environment, protect your data residency requirements. If you have any granular access restrictions, you can enforce that with these new controls. It supports encryption, and if there are any encryption-related requirements, that it focuses on that as well, and any resiliency capabilities that you may want across your multi-account environment. The third announcement is on right-sizing your instances, or EC2 instances. So with the Compute Optimizer service that we have in AWS, the AWS Compute Optimizer service, a new feature has been added to it, which introduces customizable right-sizing recommendations. So what it does is it allows our customers to adjust both the CPU headroom and threshold adjustments to provide or to generate a right sizing recommendations for your EC2. We have all been in places where you have launched your EC2 instance, but it might not have been right sized yet. So you might be over provisioning your instances or under provisioning your instances. But with this customizable right sizing recommendation, you can reduce all of that. It also allows you to configure a 32-day period of look back option, which basically allows you to configure your recommendation using the 1-month period of utilization data, and then calculates recommendation results for you. And you can also, these recommendations can be based on a single AWS account. It can be based on your organization, which has a set of AWS accounts, or it can be even based out of a regional level. And another interesting fact about this customizable right-sizing recommendation is that you can use it through the console. You can use it programmatically through the SDKs and also through CLI. Talking about the fourth feature that was released is moving away from that and talking about AWS Config. So AWS Config is a service that tracks your configuration changes in your AWS resources. So it is not enabled by default. If you have enabled AWS Config and it is a service that you have been using to check the to track all the different changes for your different AWS resources, then this is a service change that might be interesting to you. Till this point, or historically, config tracked all resource changes continuously. But with this new support, with this new launch, it supports periodic recording of your resource changes. So with workloads becoming more dynamic in nature, and with more and more resources being created, updated, deleted over a short time interval, what happens is if you continuously record your configuration changes or track your configuration changes, it leads to a lot of logs and a lot of recording, a lot of data, and this may not be required for all accounts. Such as something which is non-production, you may want to reduce these number of recordings. So periodic recording, it captures the configuration changes and records once every 24 hours, reducing the number of changes that have been delivered. So you may consider this for your non-production workloads. It is a choice that is given to our customers. So whether a resource should be continuously monitored, continuously tracked, or whether it should be periodically tracked is a choice that our customers now have with this announcement. So these are the 4 announcements that I wanted to talk about before I hand it over to Avichal. Thank you.
Thanks, Anjupta. So the fifth one we have is on, Sanjukta, if you don't mind, next screen, please. Okay, thank you. So the fifth one is on CloudWatch logs in frequent access. So that was a new log class that was announced this year for a lower per GB ingestion price for your logs. As most of you are probably aware, logs can tend to end up costing a huge amount depending on the amount of messages you're ingesting. So with CloudWatch logs and frequent access, you really get the option to have this lower cost per GB, and it is perfect for use cases like an ad hoc after the fact forensic analysis. Whereas during an actual event, when you're trying to debug things or you're trying to get a resolution, you would still want to continue to use a CloudWatch standard. CloudWatch Logs IA has a subset of features of CloudWatch log standard, and you can always switch the class that you want for different log messages as well. So it's just an add-on feature that you get, and it is available in all commercial regions that AWS has as of right now. Next one, please. Um, the next one talks about Amazon CloudWatch application signals. So this is a new feature that is in preview, and it really comes from Amazon's experience of operating thousands of applications over the last few years, and our experience as well as learning how we instrumented as well as managed applications. So with application signals, you can set the different service level objectives for your applications, and Amazon's applications like CloudWatch signals will try to get all the different metrics and help you do a faster root cause analysis whenever an incident does occur. So it can also perform correlation with different metrics and logs, and over the period of time, it will help you prioritize your different SLOs and translate as well as better correlate them with the business KPIs. It does integrate with other Amazon as well as AWS services so that you can look at different log messages in those. Similar to that, the next one is My Applications, which is the one single place to view and manage all of your applications within AWS. It is now available in the AWS Management Console itself. And as the single pane of glass, you can monitor the cost, health, and security posture, as well as the performance of all of your applications. For example, you can have an application that spans multiple accounts as well as multiple regions. And based on the tags that are being used on those applications, you can track all the different metrics within this one single pane of glass and see how you're either improving the cost of the application or how the security posture is performing. So you can think of it as a collection of different resources, accounts, as well as organizations in that single pane of glass, and helps you tag applications from the moment they're deployed. Using APIs and CLI commands, as well as infrastructure as code, you can make this part of your deployment templates such as CloudFormation as well as Terraform. The final one is one that I'm very excited about. It's the Cost Optimization Hub. Um, so the Cost Optimization Hub is a new billing and cost management feature that helps you prioritize cost optimization recommendation across your organizations as well as regions. So yeah, you can look at different accounts within your organization as well as all the different regions and get recommendations from every single account in this one single pane of glass. It aggregates and gives you over 15 different types of cost optimization recommendations, such as EC2 instance right sizing, Graviton migration, or if your resources are idle, then giving a recommendation to turn off those resources, etc. One good feature that I like about that is it can also do deduplication. So for example, if there is a recommendation to get an instant savings plan, and there is also a recommendation to turn off idle resources, it will actually deduplicate the cost to give you a real savings amount of what you can expect in terms of the suggestions that are being made. You can also track and get the exact metric value of the savings that you can get by implementing the recommendations provided by the Cost Optimization Hub. It is available in all AWS regions, and there is absolutely no charge to using the Cost Optimization Hub. So all of you can start using it today itself. And from the governance point of view, these were the main updates at reInvent 2023. But as Sanjukta mentioned, that this was just from the governance point of view. AWS did have a lot of new updates, over 200 plus updates. We have a dedicated AWS reInvent updates page that all of you can visit to look at some of the other track updates that came out at reInvent. And with that, I believe, Ron, we're going to Omar next.